guest of honor, Shri Krishna Devarayalu Garu, onto the stage.
Good evening, one and all. A warm welcome to our chief guest of the day, Chakravarti Garu, and our vice chairperson, Rani Rudram Devi Garu, and all the principals on the dais, and a very, very warm welcome to all the parents who have come here, all the well-wishers, students, and more importantly, the teachers. A very, very warm welcome to all of you, and a very good evening. The minute I walked in, I see a lot of good energies here. You might say, because it's your college, because it's your school, you might be saying there's a lot of good energies here, but I get invited to a lot of schools and colleges, so I can see when there is a good energy, when there is not a good energy. So why I'm saying there is a good energy here was two reasons. The first one was the details that these people, the teachers here have gone to. The details in the sense, the one detail I saw was, there are two students who are comparing here. I've gone to very good engineering colleges also, even they take out the paper and read through it, but both those students who are doing it, comparing here, they were not looking at any paper. It's all coming from their heart. And the second good thing that I've seen was, the detailing that I've seen was, you go to any place, even to a big concert, big film festival, any place you go to, wherever you go, normally, most of the times, the music is played through a cassette or a CD. When there's something happening on the dais, the music is always, cassette పెడతారు అది ప్లే అవుతూ ఉంటుంది పైన పిల్లలు డాన్స్ చేయటం లేకపోతే ఏరోబిక్స్ చేయటం అలా చేస్తారు అలా కాకుండా the students sitting there are doing the music, live music here. I don't know if you saw them or not. You saw them, right? So these are the details that they've gone through. That's why I'm saying there's some great energy here. Normally it doesn't happen in a lot of schools. In very few schools only this happens. Coming to today's event and today's chief guest of the day, Chakravarti Garu. He is an alumni of us. He has studied not just 1 year or 2 years with us, but almost 5 years. From 8th to 12th, intermediate ayadaka, he studied in Vignan. After that, he has become global head for TCS on recruiting and HR. But I don't give more than 10% or 15% credit to all the success that he has achieved. I only give 10 to 15% to him. Only 10 to 15% to him, because 80 to 85% of the success belongs to his father, not to him. You know why? It's a very interesting story, what his father does. His father is a doctor. Once he finishes his talk, to meet him and speak to him. His father is a doctor in a place called Ravinutala. It's a very small village in Ongol, in Prakasam district, very backward district. Very, very backward district. Close by you won't get any modern facilities like what you have here. So that's where he comes, his father is working, not just as a doctor, not just for 5 years, not just for 15 years, but he's been working there for the last 50 years. 50 years. You know what he does? Every morning, by the time he reaches his hospital అంటే ఇక్కడలాగా ఫ్యాన్సీ హాస్పిటల్ పెద్దగా ఉండదు, ఏదో 2 bedroom 2 rooms 3 rooms హాస్పిటల్, చాలా చిన్న హాస్పిటల్. అక్కడికి పొద్దున వెళ్ళేటప్పటికి బై ద టైమ్ హీ రీచెస్, there will be a minimum of 100 to 200 patients from within the radius of almost 100 kilometers. I'm not talking about 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers. Within the radius of 100 kilometers, the patients travel all the way there to reach that hospital just to meet the doctor. I'll tell you why I'm explaining so much about his father, then you will understand later. So every morning, by the time he reaches, there'll be 100 to 200 patients waiting for his consultation. So he is doing that for not for 1 year, but he is doing it for the last 50 years. By doing it for so many years, you know what he has taught his son? He taught his son what empathy is. You know, he is successful here because he can empathize with people better. He can be in the other person's shoes. ప్రతిరోజు ఒక 200 మంది పేషెంట్స్ వాళ్ళ నాన్న చూస్తూ ఉంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ హీ విల్ ఆల్వేస్ థింక్, ఓ మై డాడ్, ఆయన ఏం పెద్ద ఇక్కడలాగా కన్సల్టేషన్స్ ఒక హాస్పిటల్కి వెళ్తే ఓ ₹1000 కన్సల్టేషన్ ఫీ, దాని తర్వాత ఒక్కొక్కరికి 10,000. నో, ఇట్ డజంట్ ఛార్జ్ లైక్ దట్. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్మోస్ట్, he started with I think ₹2. He started with ₹2 as consultation. Now, after 50 years, you know what his consultation fee is? It is ₹50. His consultation fee is ₹50. So, but what he has taught was, yes, he didn't earn much by doing the consultation, but what he has earned was, he has taught his son how to empathize with people, how to be in the other person's shoes, how to understand other person's problems. Because of teaching all those things to his son, because of that only, that's the main reason I believe that's why he became head global for HR. In TCS. TCS, you know, I don't have to explain what TCS is, what TCS stands for, the values that TCS stands for. But in TCS, to become global head is something, because you have to pass through so many of, not just you have to meet so many of your targets, but more than the targets, you have to stand on so many values. That's why unless you stand on those so many values, only then you can become something like that. So that he has done that. Why I'm telling you all those things is, all this description was, try to, I know you know the parents andaru kuda below 6th class, right? Below 5th class. So this is the right age for you to teach your daughter and son how to empathize with people, how to understand other issues. Unless you teach them, and what is the benefit I'll get if I teach them anukuntaru, but unless you teach them, even if they have to become leaders, even if they have to become entrepreneurs, they cannot become without learning, acquiring that knowledge of that, having that skill in their hands. So please try to teach that one skill to them. And second most important thing I want to talk about was, ఇక్కడ చాలామంది ఈరోజు వచ్చిన వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా సరే పేరెంట్స్ వచ్చి ఉంటారు. పేరెంట్స్ కంటే కూడా ఐ థింక్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ గ్రాండ్ పేరెంట్స్ వుడ్ హ్యావ్ కమ్, రైట్? బికాస్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ యూ మైట్ బి స్టేయింగ్ with them. So I'm sure you will be spending lot of time with them. Parents kaite lot of you might be working in these software companies, or you might be having less time. But what I request you is, humbly request you is, I want you to put in an effort to actually show your son and daughter, introduce them, spend time with them to introduce them to good heroes. When I say good heroes, I'm not talking about introducing them to some film actor or something else. I'm talking about there are a lot of heroes that are there in our history, in our culture, in our society, even in our present society. There are a lot of heroes. So this is the right time to actually introduce kids to them. There are a lot of comic books and everything, but comic books is one thing. But the kids, they always, if you say, as a mother, you say like you follow this rule, they won't understand why they have to follow it. But they'll follow it once you show them, see, this is the person who has done this is the person who has achieved this, because he has achieved this because he has followed this. Unless you show that, unless you instill in their head, these are the heroes that are there. There's a lot of people in all walks of life, not just in movies. I'm talking about sports, మిగతా అన్ని దాంట్లో కూడా ఉంటారు. సో ట్రై టు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ దెమ్. సో యూ మైట్ ఆస్క్, హౌ విల్ ఐ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ టు దెమ్? ఎలా ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేయాలి వీళ్ళందరినీ, మాకు తెలియదు కదా అని. యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ టు డూ టూ మచ్, దానికి అంత కష్టపడాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. పొద్దున్నే ఐఎమ్ షూర్ ఇక్కడికి వచ్చే వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా ఇంటికి న్యూస్ పేపర్స్ వస్తాయి కదా, వస్తాయా? పొద్దున అట్లీస్ట్ for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you sit with them when you're reading your newspaper, sit with them and explain what are the actual events happening in the country. So in the newspaper itself, it will be covered. See, this is something about some person, something about some person, some event that is happening. So introduce it to the kids at the very early age. Through that, view the story. Only when you view the story and tell him through some third person, only then it will be engraved in the head. So you put that effort for the at least for 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. Don't just paper ante నేను చదువుకోవడానికి లేకపోతే మంచి చెప్పాలంటే ఇదిగో భయపెట్టి చెప్పడమో లేకపోతే బెదిరించి చెప్పడమో కాకుండా ట్రై టు టెల్ యువర్ కిడ్స్ all the rights and wrongs through some actual character that is there in the society. That is the only way that you can inculcate this habit of your kid differentiating between what is good and what is wrong. So that is one way you can really practice it. And third most important thing was third most important thing. I'm sure most of you might be facing this thing every day. I'm sure you have faced this during the COVID times. It's the third important issue was with regards to the screen time. అందరూ మీ అందరికీ ఉండే సమస్య, మీ అందరికీ కూడా యు ఆల్ ఫేస్ ఇట్ డే ఇన్ డే అవుట్. మా అబ్బాయి ఎక్కువసేపు ఐప్యాడ్లో ఉన్నాడు, ఫోన్లో చూస్తూ ఉన్నాడు, లేకపోతే మా అమ్మాయి చూస్తూ ఉంది అని చెప్పి. ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ, I don't profess that అసలు స్క్రీన్ ఇవ్వద్దు, వాళ్ళకి పక్క తీసుకెళ్ళిపోండి అంటే డోంట్ గివ్ ద యాక్సెస్ టు స్క్రీన్ ఆర్ అని చెప్పి I won't profess that, because they need that screen time, but verify and channel them in such a way that they actually watch something that will spark their head, spark their minds. There are a lot of stuff that are available which you cannot explain, which you and I cannot explain, because the way the technology is moving, I'm sure you and me cannot explain those things. Only when they get to watch what is actually happening. Say for example, if you make them read something, they might remember for a day, but if you make them show something and make them do something, they'll remember for a lifetime. So there are a lot of technologies and advancements that are happening. So I'm sure you and I cannot teach them. But what I suggest you was, yes, reduce the screen time, but make sure whatever time they spend on the iPad and everything, you channelize them in such a way that they actually watch what is spark the creative minds in those children. So you try to spend that small amount of time with them. And finally, all these things I'm telling you because I also have a son which is almost equally age as yours, because he is also going to the 4th standard. I'm sure this is the same age as your son or your daughter or your grandchild or your grandchild. So I'm facing all these issues. So from that perspective, I'm telling you, I'm sure you will also have some great suggestions to make. I'm sure you must be doing something great work also, but from my perspective, I'm giving you, and from the perspective of listening to so many parents, I'm giving this out. And last and final one, with regards to the health, I'm seeing where we don't just run our schools, we run all the way from LKG to PhD. Vignan has runs all the way schools, pre-KG to all the way to the PhD, university and everything. So when we see in the university, in Vignan University or engineering colleges, there are a lot of students who come in to take admission. What we do is in the first year, we do their health assessment, what is their height and what is their weight and everything. I'm telling you, almost 70% of the children I see are anemic or not actual weight as they are supposed to be. So what I suggest you is, yes, when you are a kid, when I am a kid, we had the opportunity where they could go out, they could play on the roads. But these days, yes, we don't see any of the kids going out and playing on the roads. But what I suggest you is, please spend that much amount of time or give them that facility where they can actually go and pursue one or two sports. One physical sport, one at least a sport, one game at least that will spark their brain. Why I'm telling you is, there are a lot of, మీరు అందరూ చదువుతూ ఉంటారు న్యూస్ పేపర్లో వీటన్నిటిలో కూడా, ప్రెషర్ ఫీల్ అవుతూ ఉన్నారు స్టూడెంట్స్, చాలా ప్రెషర్ తట్టుకోలేకపోతూ ఉన్నారు. ఇవన్నీ కూడా మీరు చదువుతూ ఉంటారు. ద ఓన్లీ వే దట్ దే కెన్ cope up with the pressure is once they practice some sport. That will solve two issues. One is it improves their health, but it also improves their mental balance as well. Once you put your kid intensively into some sport, he will understand, he and she will understand what is failure. మామూలుగా అయితే ఒక ఫెయిల్యూర్ సక్సెస్ నేర్పించాలంటే ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ అట్లీస్ట్ 5 to 6 years, బట్ ఇన్ స్పోర్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ be taught to you in half an hour, 20 minutes. గెలవటం, ఓడిపోయిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ గట్టిగా నుంచొని మళ్ళా పరిగెత్తడం, మళ్ళీ చేయటం అనేది ఇట్ విల్ టీచ్ యూ ఇన్ 30 minutes. అండ్ నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇట్ టీచర్స్ యూ ఫెయిల్యూర్ అండ్ సక్సెస్, ఇట్ విల్ టీచ్ యూ హౌ టు హ్యాండిల్ ప్రెషర్. నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇట్ విల్ టీచ్ యూ హౌ టు హ్యాండిల్ ప్రెషర్, but it actually better their health. So you try to spend these 3-4 things. One is try to give them this, empathy, show them how to empathize with people, because these days I keep seeing across the wherever I go and meet people, I see this is my life. I'm not bothered about anyone else. నా జాబ్ నాకు వస్తుంది, నా salary నాకు వస్తుంది, I don't care about anyone else అనేది. There's so much of it that is happening with a lot of new generation. I don't, that is not, I don't think that is the right thing that we should be putting into the kids side. So you try to make sure that they empathize with the people, try to take care of their, better their health through sports, and take care of their screen time, and also make sure that they also has the opportunity to actually go and meet their heroes. So make sure that these 3-4 things happens. And finally, when I come to this campus, ఈ క్యాంపస్కి వస్తే ఇట్స్ లైక్ వెరీ నాస్టాలజిక్ ఫర్ మీ, బికాస్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద క్యాంపస్ వేర్ ఐ స్టడీడ్ మై 11th and 12th. I studied my 11th and 12th 22 years back, 23 years back in this same campus. When we were studying in this campus, at that time, there was one building, and in the radius of 10 kilometers, there is only forest. So if we have to go for a movie also, we were so scared that we couldn't go for a movie. But look at it now. In 25 years, this is what has happened around us. But still, we are running our school here with the same values and same ethos that our chairman has envisioned. And we will continue to do that. And for that, we expect all the support. Whatever support you have given it to us, you have given extremely good support for us. We expect the same support from all the parents, on all the communities around here. Thank you very much. And once again, and thank wholeheartedly for Chakravarti Garu to make us time to come all the way here and be present with us. Thank you.